All good talks about management, stroke life, need excellent analogies or metaphors. Here's mine. This is Alan's egg. What does it mean? Well, I'll tell you. Now, interesting. It's a blind man's stick. Yes. It's encouraging to know, isn't it, that out of someone's misfortune, something good can come. In this case, a collapsible attaché case-sized handy pointer. Okay. Now, most of us start off life in the frying pan. With hard work, we gain access to the white. But where we really want to be is the place reserved for the select few, the elite, who take their place within the yolk. How do we get from the egg white to the yolk without bursting it and ending up with egg all over our faces? Well, to do that, we need my 3-point plan, which is think, act, that's it. It's technically a 2-point plan, but I don't know, you do need the third to remind people that there are only 2, because they expect them to come in 3s. So it's a 2-pronged trident. A bident. Or a hoe. I mean hoe as in garden hoe. Not as in, you looking at my hoe. What do they mean? What does that mean when they do it? What is all that sort of, yo, what's up, G? Some homie's been dissing my bitch. You know, what's wrong with good morning and a firm handshake? Okay, now moving on. Now, when you're addressing your family, friends, workforce, personnel, whatever, you may want to continue the casual approach by sitting on a chair. But don't be afraid to use the chair in an unconventional manner. You may want to turn it round and straddle it. It's got arms. Never mind, I can still do this. There we go. See, a football coach giving a pep talk to the team at half-time may very well straddle a chair thus, and roll his sleeves up and say, hey, you, pass the ball to him, and then score a goal. I'm paraphrasing. It shows there's something of the maverick about you. You're prepared to thwart convention, prepared to break the rules, certainly as regards seating. Something you just want to put on your wish list. Wait. No, it's fine. It's actually very good for your back. But I think I could carry on like this, but I'll abort the chair. Okay, moving on. Picture of a goldfish. What does it mean, Alan? That's what you're thinking, not me, I know. Need a volunteer from the audience for this. Let's see. Sir, you there, do you want to come up and help me illustrate this point, if you'd be so good? Leave your jacket there, you won't be needing that. Quick as you like. Hello. Just follow me here. Just stand about here. Stand there. Just stand there. Perfect. Just move out of just that way. Perfect. Lovely. This is a nice peach polo top. Lovely. Interesting. A lot of people might say that that's a bit garish. But will they be visible towards oncoming traffic down a dark country lane? Probably not. Okay, now I'll deal with you in a second. Okay, picture of a goldfish. Took a photograph of it swimming around Fort Knox. Seriously though, can we name any of the properties of a fish that are exclusive to a fish? Properties of a fish that make it be a fish. Just shout them out if you can think of any. Gills. Good, excellent. Breathing ears. Helps suck in air and hear. Any other properties of a fish? Fins, good. Fins, a kind of guidance system, isn't it? Kind of piscine keel, based on a yacht. Which came first, the fish or the yacht? Interesting question. Well, we don't have time to answer that tonight. Well, it's the fish, isn't it? Any other properties of a fish?
Big sharp teeth.
Big sharp teeth. Well. I think you know you're wrong, don't you? I think you're shouting out that to have a bit of fun, and that's fine. But this is the work section. I made that clear. Any other properties of a fish?
Gravel.
Gravel? Okay, all right. Now, hang on. I'm going to deal with this. You've thrown down the gauntlet, haven't you? And I'm going to pick it up. Because you clearly, by shouting gravel, are trying to be anarchic. I know, perhaps you're a member of Chumbly Wombly. Men in skirts doesn't frighten me. Although, were you to wear a skirt, I suspect the real reason you'd be wearing one is because you quite like to wear them. Any other properties of a fish? Pardon?
Batter.
Batter? Oh dear. You know, you probably think, don't you, that when you go home tonight, all your mates will be saying, if you've got any, will be saying, hey, Baz, Faz, Gaz, Daz, whatever your name is. He was really great tonight. When Alan Partridge was trying to illustrate a serious point about a fish, he shouted out batter. Isn't he big? Isn't he clever? I don't think they'll be shouting that. I think when you walk home tonight, there'll be a rather embarrassed silence. Okay? Now, that applause was for me, by the way. Or before we got way off the point there. Oh, yes, we've finished that bit now, darling.
The thing is, Alan, dry stone walling can be very, very therapeutic, and it does tend to attract quite sort of isolated, lonely sort of people. It's no accident, actually, that I am bulimic, and with my depression, it's like a big black cloud I just feel descending on me sometimes.
You're talking about your problems again. Stop it.
Sorry. Sorry, it's just nice to have the chance to actually chat about them.
I know, just don't. Now, tell us about chips and potatoes as it applies to dry stone walling. Tell us how chips are the small oblong stones and potatoes are the large round ones. You'll like this.
Well, chips are the small oblong stones, and potatoes are the larger round ones.
I imagine that when you have your lunch and you use those two technical terms, chips and potatoes, and you're eating them, it must get very confusing. Does it?
No.
Right. Why not?
I normally just have a flask of soup.
Is it nice?
Yes, lovely, thank you.
What
yes.
sort is it?
It's a mulligatawny soup that I usually have. Yeah. It's quite a spicy brown sort of soup full of chopped up vegetables.
Oh, chopped up vegetables. I'll tell you something, I can't stand liquid with bits in it. I'll tell you for why. Interesting anecdote. This should spice things up. Sorry about this, love, but it's going nowhere. We're going to move on. I've got a Kate Bush medley to do. Now, when I think about your big black cloud, when I was at school, my best friend would put vegetable soup in his mouth and pretend to be sick in the playground. And actually, you'll like this. It's right up your street. He would pretend to be sick in the playground, and I would crawl over and eat it up like a dog. Schoolboy prank. But it backfired. Because we were in assembly, and he'd just had some bad scampi, and was genuinely sick. And to cut a long story short, I ended up with child sick in my mouth. Sorry about that. Sorry. No, the irony is I was then genuinely sick. And I was standing in a line, and I was sick on the back of the boy in front of me. And he, in turn, vomited on the back of the boy in front of me. It started off a whole chain reaction, rather like dominoes, or vominos. 9 boys in a row, most extraordinary, one after the other. I remember the last one had a kind of double kick. Came straight down his nostrils. Like a double-barrel shotgun. Bang! Went straight over the shoulders of the boy in front of him, thus breaking the chain.
Hello, good evening, and aha! 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 I'm not, it doesn't bother me. Yes, good evening and welcome to Alan Partridge will rock you into forward solutions with whiskers. What happened to the thunder flash? That's supposed to blow up when I point at it like God. And then I was going to say Alan Partridge will rock you into forward solutions. What? Yes, with whiskers. I'd like to start by thanking my dance troupe, my cheerleaders, Hot and Pot, collectively known as Hot Pot. There used to be 3 of them. They were known as Hot Pot and Red Cabbage. But due to the credit crunch, I had to let Red Cabbage go. There they are. Hello, girls. Getting changed. Oh, saw your bra. They don't mind. Really? Okay, I'll go over here. Bras are interesting, aren't they? They used to be all lift and separate. Now it's all squash them together. Make your minds up, girls. Oh, bras. Jesus. I do not believe that was an accident. Okay, let's begin. Let me start by taking you back in time to late August. I was sitting on the teak veranda of the Admiral's Cocktail Lounge in Bournemouth. You won't know it, it's members only. As I was sitting there, sipping a cool glass of white wine, sandwiched between Monty Don and TV's Alistair Stewart from Police Camera Action. And I remember thinking to myself, Alan, you crazy mofo. It doesn't get much better than this. I remember Monty was refilling my glass with a crisp Australian white. He's always got dirt under his fingernails, Monty Don. I don't mind, he's a gardener. Yeah. You see the same thing on the Pet Shop Boys, and it's a little bit unsavoury. But as I was sitting there, enjoying the good life, my mind drifted back to that time 5 years earlier when I shat my pants in PC World. I just had a major television chat show cancelled, and as with any major trauma, something had to give. That something, in my case, was the small valve at the base of my lower intestine. But I didn't panic. Fortunately, I was wearing my M&S cellular briefs, which acted as a kind of makeshift hammock. I was lonely and I was depressed. I checked into the Ibis Hotel in Canary Wharf, where I paid £14.50 to watch Billy Elliot. And that film inspired me. I thought, if that small gay Geordie can overcome prejudice and bigotry and being a Geordie, then I can overcome my problems. People can change, countries can change. Look at Wales. 5 years ago, nobody gave a damn about Wales. Now they make Doctor Who there. In fact, look inside a Dalek, you may well find a bitter ex-miner at the controls. Okay, let's kick it up a gear. This is state-of-the-art technology. It's an electronic gauntlet linked to a computer. I'm going manual. Okay. It's a combination of an iPhone and a Wii, and it's called a YI. And interestingly, it was developed in Newcastle by myself, Intel, and Jimmy Nail. I only wear the glove on the one hand, a bit like Michael Jackson, except my glove will not be used for evil. Okay, let's start by having a bit of fun. If people were pies, who would have a positive filling? Let's take a look. That's right, it's Trevor Phillips, chairman of the Commission for Racial Equality. Trevor is a very positive person. I met him 2 years ago at the Pride of Britain Awards, where he was winning an award for being least racist person or something. And afterwards, after the ceremony, he'd had a couple of drinks. And actually, I think I'll do this. Actually, that's a bit weird. Yeah, he'd had a couple of drinks, and Trevor made some pretty derogatory comments about the Welsh. And I said, hey Trevor, give that award back. And he said, Alan, I'm not racist. He said, but you've got to draw the line somewhere. And without missing a beat, he said, and that line is somewhere around Shropshire. Very positive person indeed. Who else would have a positive filling? Let's take a look. That's right, it's my very good friend, Norfolk-based intensive farmer, Bernard Matthews. Bernard is a very positive guy. He gets a lot of flack from the pro-chicken brigade. Unnecessarily so, because he really does have chicken's best interests at heart. I was chatting with him about this the other week at a cockfight in his front room. And I said, Bernard, don't listen to these people. I mean, how much space does a chicken need, really? If you do give them space, they just run around like idiots. So, you know. But he's got a great sense of humour. I was at a party at his house a few weeks ago, and he said to me, he said, Alan, he said, are you a leg or a breast man? I said, do you mean chickens or ladies? And he laughed. He said, but no, seriously, Alan, he said, when we get them in a confined space, he said, they make a hell of a racket. I said, do you mean chickens or ladies? And he laughed again. Yeah. Not quite as loudly as the first time, but he did laugh. And then he said, no, but seriously, Alan, he said, when they reach a certain weight, we electrocute them, slit their throats, then gut them. I said, do you mean chickens or ladies? And he asked me to leave. Okay, if a pie had a negative filling, what would that look like? Let's take a look. That's right, it's Chief Superintendent Charles Brownlow from the Bill. Don't know his real name. 2 years ago, Brownlow, when I told Brownlow 2 years ago I was going to write, direct, produce, and act in my own play about the life of Sir Thomas More, Brownlow said, don't do it, Alan. You're not a good enough writer, you're not a good enough actor, you'll just look like a tit. Really, Brownlow? Well, when I put that play on tonight, there's only going to be one tit, and it'll be you. And you'll be a tit eating a pie. And you know what flavour that pie will be? Humble pie. By the way, when I had acting lessons for my debut tonight, I hired the best in the business, crocodile shoe-wearing Geordie hardman, Jimmy Nail. And Jimmy, when he trained me, he said to me, he said, Alan, he said, I divn't fuck a boot. And he didn't. He really didn't. Okay. Now, you're sitting there, and you're thinking, okay, Alan, forward solutions sounds pretty amazing. But we want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Well, let me introduce to you two horses whom I've rocked into forward solutions. Please clap your hooves for my two rocking horses. I'll just introduce them. Jackie and Jackie Tootle. Now, Jackie and Jackie Tootle. A little bit confusing. Presumably, you're Jacqueline and you're Jack.
No, we're actually both christened Jackie.
That's hilarious. But to avoid confusion, what I'd like to do is refer to you as woman and you man. Now, woman. You were one of the first people to embark on my Forward Solutions programme, weren't you?
Yes, well, I realised that a lot of my problems stem from my childhood.
Right.
My mother was very critical of me as a child, and she used to tell me I was fat.
Bitch.
Well, no, she had her own issues.
Okay, fair enough.
But my father wasn't around when I was growing up.
Ah, right, bastard.
Because he was killed in a car crash.
Okay, not a bastard.
Well, he was drunk driving, so...
Okay, so sort of a bastard.
Well, no, he had his own issues as
well.
well.
Make your mind up, love, you know, you can't have it both ways.
Well, my therapist says I can actually.
Yeah. Carry on.
So,
Yeah.
that was my best start tonight, as you can imagine.
Right. Sorry. Sorry, I've just pressed a button here by mistake. Sorry, I'll just sort that. Keep going. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry about that. Just sort this out.
So that wasn't the best start in life.
Okay.
And then I met Jackie, who's the love of my life.
Yeah.
And as well as us both being called Jackie, we both actually have an allergy to dairy, which is quite unusual, isn't it? And you know, we have to avoid milk,
Yeah.
of course, and cheese and all sorts of lovely things, pizza, for example. But if we do have any milk, it does mean that we will get a bit of that rash, and at worst, it can actually make your face puff up and stops you from breathing. So we do really have to avoid any type of milk, and we have to limit our diet. Unfortunately, our little son is allergic to it. It's a lot more severe for him. He went to a children's party, as kids do. He did have some milk chocolate offered by another child, and he did actually have quite a severe allergic reaction. And it put him in hospital, which was terrible for us. I mean, he did.
It sounds amazing, it really does.
Here comes my queen.
Catherine of Aragon. Yes. Most handsome woman.
I think she has some hair on her top lip.
Really? I've never noticed, honestly.
No, I can feel it when I kiss her. It's almost as if she has...
Don't say whiskers. Keep going.
I only have eyes for Anne Boleyn. She has me spellbound.
But the king is married and the church will not allow a divorce.
Silence, Sir Thomas. She comes hither. Anne has a radiance that I fear may be beyond the bounds of marital obligation.
Aye, she is fucking gorgeous, I'll give you that. But to matters constitutional. The Pope is the head of the church, and he will not allow you a divorce, so you can simply have it off with Anne Boleyn.
The only it I shall have off is your head, when I chop it off and put it on a spike. Silence, Sir Thomas. I am not japing around this time.
Right, it's very difficult to tell with you.
I shall create a new church, the Church of England.
Your Majesty, I implore you to stop. Assess the damage, take small steps in the right direction.
That three-pronged plan is most interesting.
It is, isn't it? It can be applied to any situation. That's the good thing about it.
But the king ignored this advice of his much wiser friend. He made himself head of the church and married Anne Boleyn.
Thomas, why wilt thou not accept me as head of the church?
I do not think it is a forward solution.
Put down that bloody lute!
Right, well, I'm just tuning it up. Chillax.
Why do you defy me?
I do not think His Majesty is thinking with his royal head, but rather with his regal
Thomas.
cock.
Thomas!
And you're not the head of the church.
Thomas! You've been a dear and trusted friend, but I will not stand for this treason!
I have a message from the Pope.
Lay it upon my table. Christ. Fuck. Right, what's my next line? Where's he gone? You are not the head of the church.
Thomas, you've been a dear and trusted friend, but I will not stand for this treason!
I have a message from the Pope.
Lay it upon my table. You're not the head of the church.
Thomas, you've been a dear and trusted friend, but I will not stand for this treason!
I have a message from the Pope.
Lay it upon my table.
That's the last one.
Right, we're stuck in a loop. Your Majesty, we spoke of this matter at great length.
Where did we have such a conversation? I cannot recall.
Why, at Hampton Court in the car park? No, the gift shop. No, the maid.
Thomas! Stop jabbering!
Oh, sorry.
I see you are thinking of asking me not to condemn you to death.
Cheers. Please don't condemn me to death.
Silence! I condemn you to death!
No, I'll leave that there. Right, shall I just go to the Tower of London?
Yes, that's
okay.
best.
Good morrow, Your Majesty. I'll just put my hat on. Sorry.
Take him to the tower!
Unhand me! I'm Roger Moore. Oh, shit, I've done it again.
So rare birds' eggs are being scrambled for Russian oligarchs, and Bill Oddie goes apeshit. He shows up at Claridge's,
wearing his Twitcher's jerkin, and the pockets are full of every conceivable explosive.
I got the picture.
He walks in to the buffet area, the breakfast buffet. People turn round. They say, "Isn't that the man from Springwatch?" Someone else says, "Wasn't he once one of the goodies?" "Yeah, not anymore. Now he's a baddie." Seconds later, Carnage. Oddie is like a bearded Catherine wheel scything through the crowd. Ironically, the oligarchs wearing the leather jackets are protected from the worst of the blast, but an innocent couple from the northeast on a city break are vaporised.
Sorry, are you asking me a specific question?
Yes.
And that question is if an RSPB neo-fundamentalist was radicalised, Oddie sacrificed himself, and the rest of them holed up in Wookiee Hole, and I was sent to neutralise the threat, how would I proceed?
Simples.
You really want to know?
Yeah, let's hear it. Hand-to-hand combat, commando style.
Do you mind if I stand up?
No, please.
Take the floor.
Take the floor. The floor is yours. You have the floor.
So, in Special Forces, we're given licence to use bespoke techniques, improvised weaponry, that sort of thing. My favourite for hand-to-hand combat is this brass knuckle, which I've adapted. I've stuck a protruding blade on one side, very sharp. What I would do is, when I'd attack the first insurgent, punch him full in the face as hard as I could until I felt a splinter of bone, that his nose was truly shattered. And then, as he's toppling backwards, grab hold of him with your right hand and bring my hand back with the blade like an arc across his throat, severing one or preferably both of the carotid arteries. You've got to be careful here because you've got to avoid the squirt of the jet of blood because, you don't want to be blinded moving on to the next fella. It's quite weird, this, actually, because if you get it right, the neck opens up completely, yawns back like a Muppet's mouth.
Oh, my God.
So then you let them drop, take care not to trip over them. I've seen that happen. And then you repeat and adapt, 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 until the cave is clear. It's very bloody, but it's quick and it's quiet, and that's why I like it. Any questions?
No.
Yeah, which Muppet?
You rejoin us on Mid-Morning Matters. Tommy Gaskell, survival expert, still with us. And on line 2, we have Sophie. Sophie, what's your tongue twister?
Did that man hurt the Muppet?
No, love, he didn't hurt any Muppets. He simply dispatched some terrorists from a radicalised RSPB in Wookiee Hole. It was simply that when he slit the throats of the bad people, they resembled the mouths of Muppets. Hope that answers you.
Did they get better?
Did they get better?
We cleared the cave.
No one survived, Sophie. He cleared the cave.
And when the man hurt the other men, did the man feel bad?
Did you feel bad?
It's my job.
No, he didn't feel bad, Sophie. Yesterday's quickfire phone-in only yielded 3 calls. My mistake. I think panel beating was too narrow a topic. So today we're going to open it out with the question, what is the best thing? What's the best thing of all? So far we've got Sky Plus, a cup of Brazil nuts, that was amusing, livestock, valid, and wet wipes. That was a fascinating call from an elderly lady in Hempton. Let's have some more. Line 2.
The first smile of a newborn.
Who could not like that? Who could not like that, though?
Herod.
Yes, Herod. That's right. He was a baby killer.
He enjoyed... Yes, he killed lots of babies.
He did. We don't like him. Line 4, Sean.
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to be your radio show, Alan.
Oh, yeah. I have no need. You've saved me a lot of money on toilet paper now because you've already done the job for me, as it were.
You're arse slicker.
Yeah. All right. Well, obviously that's the implication. Line 6, Stuart.
It's sliced bread.
What about sliced bread?
Sliced bread is the best thing, isn't it? 'Cause that's what people say. They say it's the best thing.
Yeah, but
sliced bread is.
well, that's a phrase, but it's not actually the best thing, is it?
Can I have a T-shirt?
No, of course you can't. That's just a turn of phrase.
Yeah, but it's the best thing, isn't it? Because it's what people say. They say the best thing.
I know they say that. I'm familiar with the phrase, but it's just a turn. It's not literally true.
Then why do people say it? Of course
Because
it's true.
it's not.
Sliced bread is the best thing. It's the best thing. It's sliced bread.
If you keep saying it, Stuart, it's not going to make it any more
We
true.
all know the phrase, mate.
We all know the phrase. It's just an idiom.
You're an idiot.
No, an idiom, not an idiot.
You're an idiot.
No. You're an idiot for not knowing what idiom is. It's clearly confused you because you think I just substituted the T with an M. You stupid gim. You momal mwam. What you got?
Maybe that.
You're a compleem cunm.
Well, I think you're a prick.
Right, get rid of him. Sorry about that. I should have knocked him off more quickly. I wasn't quick enough. I apologise.
And a dick.
Shit. Right. Right, well, he's gone now, but I'll continue to speak my mind about him. Stuart, I've got to say, I think the Clifton Suspension Bridge was built for people like you. The fact that you can drive cars across it is a bonus, so do the decent thing. And leave the keys in your car so someone can shift it afterwards. And please don't call in saying I'm encouraging people to kill themselves.
Again?
Yeah. I'm suggesting that one person throw himself off Clifton Suspension Bridge because he is, and hopefully soon to be was, a very unpleasant individual. A bit like Jamiroquai. Now it's time for Who Does Alan Think Alan Is?
Who do you think you are?
Just to explain, the sense of that line was not properly explained to the voiceover artist before she went into the booth. By the time I found out, she was already in a cab. Complete waste of 30 quid. She sounds like she's been touched on a bus. My main guest today is one of the genealogists from BBC One's Who Do You Think You Are? Please welcome Henry Spring.
Hello. Our journey begins with your great-grandmother, Annie Partridge. Do you remember her?
I do, Granny Annie. She died when I was a toddler. She used to make me chucky egg. Egg and butter chopped up in a bowl. You can add that to your files. Send it to the boys at WDYTYAHQ. Who do you think you are, headquarters?
Oh. Well, like many women of her time, she was a stay-at-home mum, wasn't she?
She was unemployed, yes.
But what you might not know is that if we delve one generation further back, we find she had an aunt who lived quite near here, so that would have been your great-great-aunt.
It's fascinating. Please tell me more.
She lived in a semi-detached house in Sheringham at the very end of the 19th century.
That must have been one of the first semi-detached houses in Norfolk.
Not in Norfolk, but it may have been one of the first in Sheringham.
But that's still fascinating. It sends a shiver down your spine.
Do you want me to get you up?
Rest in peace. Great aunt. What's her name?
We don't know. We just have the initial E.
Rest in peace, Mrs. E. Was she married?
We don't know that either.
Oh, well, rest in peace, E. Partridge. What was the joke you were going to do?
I was just going to say, shall I go and get you a hot water bottle when you said you had a chiller in your spine?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good, yeah. I think I was right to stop you there.
Oh, yeah.
Henry, I'm right, am I not, that my distant relative was involved in perhaps one of the most important pieces of town planning that Norwich has ever seen?
Well, he worked in the Office of Town Planner.
Changing what was Deering Square into what is now Deering Lane.
They effectively made it a thoroughfare, yes.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, the number of times I've parked on that road. Never knew. I mean, I know it's loading only, but you park there after 6, they never get you.
Right.
I almost feel like crying.
Certainly made getting into the centre of town that bit more straightforward.
And the rest. If it weren't for Deering Lane, you'd have to come in on the ring road. I mean, it's just amazing that an ancestor man had to wrestle with that awful decision. I mean, on the one hand, the square gave people somewhere to sit, a respite from the frenetic pace of life in Norwich. And yet on the other, I mean, direct access to Hobbs Road must have been like the promised land to civil engineers, cutting journey times from the east half of the city in half. It was caught between a rock and a hard place.
It must have been ruddy hard. I sent a shiver down my spine. Another one. That's the second one in half an hour. I almost feel like I should get a hot water bottle to reheat my spine. I love that advert. What
giving them away.
OK, time for some more calls on...
What is Alan firing his friend's air rifle into?
That sound again. And again. Line 10, what am I firing my friend's air rifle into?
A sandwich.
Wrong, line 3.
The future?
Are you on an E? Line 6.
Dunno.
Did you call earlier?
Yeah, I did.
Unbelievable. Line 4.
Chop, chop, the nurse is here.
What the hell's all that about?
No idea, mate.
Seriously, what?
might have something to do with me.
Why?
It's to do with something I did on the on Branning's show last night.
Well, let's hear it.
Move on.
No, let's hear it.
Move on.
Let's hear it. Seriously.
No, it wouldn't work now.
No, you can't deprive the listeners of mid-morning matters.
On this occasion, I think I should.
Seriously, let's hear what you did.
Really? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so Carl Branning was under the weather, and he had some night nurse and some day nurse, and so the big joke was, which one should he take, because it's the night time, but he still didn't want to go to sleep. And then the callers started, it's like the later night, the callers are a bit more sort of zany, so they start calling in and with the other suggestions for nurses and people. And anyway, the point was, someone called in about a mental nurse, and then I basically was then a mental nurse for the next hour, just doing a stupid character about this nurse who kind of scuttles around the wards and is like putting milk into the drips and things, and she's just like toppling people out of beds, and I don't really.
Sidekick Simon.
Don't worry about it. Honestly. Wait a minute. Have you seen Duck Soup and Larkspurs?
Oh yeah.
You'd love that. You'd love it. OK, time for traffic and travel.
Traffic and travel.
That was Alison Moyet again. And now for the final choice cut of Partridge on Partridge.
Sounds like two birds copulating.
Not now, mate. What about family? Got any kids? Yeah, I got a couple, male and female. Names? Denise, she's the female, and Fernando, he's the other one. Love them? Just a bit. Do they listen to the show? Yes, they do.
It's not what they told me.
You don't know. What would be your ideal evening? I'll tell you what it wouldn't be, is having a pint of bitter with a traitor.
Come on, Alan, give me a break.
Who said I was talking about you? World doesn't revolve around you.
No, I'm not saying that.
You're not the moon.
Yeah, I thought you said you weren't bothered.
What about your favourite TV show? Deal or no deal, I'm not bothered. And why is that? Edmonds. You can do what you like for all I care. It's a free country, unless they change the law. What about a favourite war? The 100 Years. I'll tell you something else. Any reason? Pioneering use of cannons. You can make love to the guy for all I care. Bum time with Branning. That's been legal since '67. What's your greatest strength? You give a break to a lab assistant from secondary modern. Your biggest weakness? Repays you by taking 30 pieces of Branning silver.
He's not paying me, Alan.
It's a metaphor. What makes you laugh? To recap, key strength, courage, weakness, too kind, funny, YouTube, sneezing panda, enjoyed chat. I enjoyed chatting to you too, thanks, Alan. And tell Chagwin I'll pay for the dry cleaning, but he should count himself something else. And the answer to what is Alan firing his friend's air rifle into is a beef tomato. And here is Mick Hucknall.
So a bit of banter.
OK.
Just keep it light.
Yeah.
OK.
OK.
Off we go.
Right.
Today with Eddie Shepherd and Terry Cohen.
Good evening.
Good morning.
Yes.
This is North Norfolk today.
In case you're wondering if Eddie Shepherd has had his adenoids removed or has finally cut down on the fags, neither is true. You're listening to Alan Partridge. Eddie's adenoids continue to block the vast majority of his nasal passages, and he continues to smoke like a gangster in a 1940s film, who even the other gangsters think, smokes to excess, and tell him so.
And Alan's in for Eddie all week. It's great to have you with us, Alan.
Pleasure to be here.
Very welcome.
Thank you. And thank you.
So, I'm very happy to be on the show. I listen to it every morning.
Oh, do you?
In Cafe Nero, yes. By default. I mean, they pipe it in. So,
Right.
you provide the soundtrack while I chomp on my egg panini with extra egg. An extra egg.
Sounds delicious.
It is.
It's 7:01,
Very nearly.
and it's time for a review of today's papers with Alan.
Right you are. So, I have got some big tits for you. Tits. Titbits. Doubling titbits.
Freudian slip there. Oh dear, sorry about that.
I don't know what all the fuss is about, really. I mean, they're just pointed sacks of fat on the upper torso of a woman, for goodness sakes. What's the big deal, people? I mean, we've all got our favourite, gland. Mine happens to be the mammary. The Independent leads with government in secret spending cuts.
That's yesterday's paper you got there, Alan.
Right, I've read all yesterday's papers. What am I going to do? And now traffic and travel.
We haven't got that in yet. We haven't got traffic and travel.
That's fine. The roads today are fairly normal. I'm being told that there are potentially going to be some hold-ups. Nothing major, nothing that I can be specific about at this stage, but generally be vigilant, drive in a normal way, and stay tuned for more traffic updates. I hope that is helpful. The police also say to be careful if the roads are icy, but they're not suggesting they are at the moment, though they may be. Just keep your eye. Just drive sensibly, for Christ's sakes.
7:03.
Well, it is now. Yeah.
So, a quick email here from Samantha, who says that she has fat arms.
Oh, Samantha. I mean, a lot of people, so many of you have a fixation with physical perfection these days. It's because we're bombarded with images of size zero models, an impossible ideal to attain.
It is, absolutely. Samantha, I'm sure your arms are absolutely fine. She's got an attachment here. So, oh my God, they are vast. Wow.
Alan.
That's... you've got a lovely face, Samantha. She's got a lovely face. Yeah. I've got to send this to Jonathan Ross.
OK, and, we've got a letter here from Lucinda. Lucinda says, I'm 45, but I'm going out with a 23-year-old man. We clicked straight away, but although he's very affectionate, we're yet to make love and he cannot maintain an erection. And I'm worried it's my fault. What shall I do?
Well, it's actually very common in younger men, much more so than people realise.
Yeah. I mean, these young men look all well and good in the underpant adverts, but when they hit the hay...
It's a failure to launch.
I like it.
Well, sorry, come in here. What do young women make of it all these days?
Well, I suppose it comes down to confidence, really, doesn't it? Because I think a younger man can be a bit too eager to please, end up sort of at 6s and 7s. And then an older man, with some experience, is perhaps a bit more at ease with himself.
Yeah, and of course we're very fortunate these days. We have Viagra.
Yeah, but although do not exceed the stated dose.
So you've suffered from that, have you, Alan?
No.
Well, a lot of men have. I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
All right, once, but that was only because I'd already commenced foreplay when I remembered I hadn't renewed my tax disc. But once I put a quick call into the DVLA, lovemaking could begin in anger.
I think it's all about making sure the conditions are right, getting the mood right, the atmosphere.
Oh, sure. I mean, I'm not going to be embarrassed about this, seeing as we're trying to be grown up about this. There have been times when I've been more rubbery than turgid. I mean, you can't just summon up tumescence like room service.
Yeah, and I think it's partly down to the woman to sort of help set the mood a little, help man relax.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's all about mood. Take the phone off the hook. Put on some easy listening, Carpenter's, Enya, and of course, make sure the heating's on.
OK. Got another email here from Paul in Swaffham on forced celebrity breeding. This one is Kylie Minogue and David Dickinson to make an Oompa Loompa.
Absolutely. Minogue provides the size, Dickinson provides the requisite skin tone and expression. Let's have some Alison Moyet. Now, mention our American cousins, and most people think weaponry, donuts, racism, and brown paper shopping bags with no handles. What's all that about?
Oh dear, I thought you were having a stroke there. But there's much more to America than that. Time for New SA, our first regular update on the state of the states. We're joined by our very own Ruth Duggan for a segment as American as Mum's apple pie.
You were having
and
a stroke.
who doesn't love Mum's apple pie?
Well, sure I would. I met your mum, but I imagine a kind of Nanette Newman type, crimping crusts and cutting out love hearts from excess pastry to plonk on the top of the pie lid.
Something like that. What about your mum's?
Well, I love my mum, but I have to say she made bad pies. And even though she loved me, she managed to make a pie without putting any love into it whatsoever. So, yeah, just chopped apples, pastry, lots of brown sugar, but, as I say, no love. But, Ruth, I bet you loved your mum's apple pie. First up, police raid a house in Cleveland and find 4 dead men in a septic tank. Not the kind of story anyone likes.
I do, actually. I love anything like that.
Right.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, right. You mean the apple pie. I'm the same, though, Ruth. All the pastry turns into a fat back.
Well, quite. It's been described as a truly gruesome sight.
What?
A vision of hell. Dismembered limbs from as many
right.
as...
I think you've got a bit of a delay on the line.
delay on the line.
Copycat.
So I'll just try and soldier on as best... Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
It's all right. I was just saying the same thing as you said.
I should just try and push on and assume that you can hear... Yep, go ahead, Alan.
No, you go ahead.
Shall
you
I
go
continue?
ahead.
So
you
I'll
go
try-
ahead.
I didn't
You
quite
go
catch-
ahead. It's like trying to have a chat on a webcam with someone in the Philippines. Or bloody anywhere in the world.
Yes, sorry, after you.
Ruth, stop talking. We're starting again. Nod when you get this. Now, Ruth, hello.
Hello.
Good. Do you like your mum's apple pie?
Yes.
And I believe the police have found the remains of 4 dead men in a house in Cleveland.
Yes, that's right.
Well, tell us about it and give us a long answer so we don't have to keep going back and forth.
Now?
Yes, now. I should knock on the side of your box.
Well,
Ignore
as
the
I said,
box thing.
it's a grisly discovery. And while the identities of the men haven't been... Sorry, the side of my box? The owner of the house has been named locally as 51-year-old Brian Crilly, now the subject of a full-scale manhunt.
Well, Ruth, I think we'll leave it there for today. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jenny.
Let you go and enjoy the sunshine.
Too hot for me, I'm afraid.
You back with us next week?
The week after.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Ruth Duggan there, and apologies if there were any technical glitches. I think we got it sorted out in the end.
Hilary Couchman, Dr. Hilary Couchman. How long have humans been swearing?
Well, curse words or vulgarities go back really as far as language itself. But when it comes to written English, we find profanities cropping up from the 13th century.
So, something like this. Should I wear gloves to handle
The
this?
protocol is that the curator handles the material.
Oh, OK, right. I'm pretty sure I've seen Dr. David Starkey handling stuff like this on TV. And I've even seen them let Tony Robinson have a fiddle.
The protocol is the curator handles the material.
You said that. Do they ever let you guys go to an area just to relax? Because they should do. Maybe that should be part of the protocol. Swearing, swear words.
One of the more prominent words is the word f***, but c*** too is also common across the Germanic and Scandinavian languages. We also find uses of piss,
Well,
shit,
beep that. What areas would these profanities emanate from? I'm thinking Manchester, Liverpool.
no, from across the whole country.
OK.
Now, what we have here are parish records from Drayton in Shropshire.
When would that be?
1295.
That's what these trousers cost.
So, What these documents show is how the earliest instances of swear words were typically found in the names of places or people. So surnames often describe what someone was or did.
Right.
Here we have a listing for Henry F***a-beggar.
Goodness me.
Now, back then, the word f*** didn't have its current meaning.
Okay.
It actually referred to hitting or striking.
Right, good. Well, hence the phrase, let's hire some Albanians to f*** him up.
So there are terms that have fallen out of use. So here in 1740, we have the term Runtalian, which means one whose scrotum is so relaxed as to be longer than his penis.
One wonders whether that's due to a truncated member or distended testes.
Well, I guess it's just chicken and egg. We also find some fairly vulgar slang words for penis, such as beard splitter and arse opener, whilst fellatio was known as bagpiping.
Oh, makes sense.
In the 1785 book, the Classical Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue, we find the term to huffle. Would you like to have a guess at what that means?
Oh, gosh, I'll have a bash. To huffle, the act of putting my head between a lady's breasts and huffling. That's, you get the picture?
No, it's another word to fillate.
Right, OK.
I always find it amusing when I ask people that question, what answer I'll get.
Right, well, that's an interesting part of the protocol. Thank you very much, Dr. Hilary Mantel.
Couchman.
One who likes to squat over another...
It's my surname.
Right, yes, of course. We are so, with several O's, excited to be here with fashionista extraordinaire Tommy Chaucer. Tommy.
Hey, and excited is right, because today is all about the skirt. After 2 years of heavy tailoring with all manners of trouser, baby, the skirt is back.
OK.
So cop a feel of these. Now, our first skirt is a circle skirt, modelled by the beautiful Kirsty.
Hello.
Just £65.
She can't be. Oh, you mean the price?
And it's a skirt that's an expression of joy. It's summertime, it's good times, it's light, it's airy, and it's fun.
It's a happy skirt,
Yes.
isn't it? It's
Yeah.
very elated.
It's over the moon.
It is. It's chuffed to bits.
Can't wipe the smile off its face.
It's billowy.
Like a windsock.
Like a windsock. Or like a tent.
Yes. A marquee. Wedding marquee,
like
maybe.
a big wedding marquee that's not been moored properly.
That's right. And you can see exactly what the skirt does for Kirsty's posture, the way she walks, the way she holds herself. And wow, Kirsty owns it.
Really? Oh, well, thank you for bringing it in, Kirsty.
I mean, she makes it work for her.
Oh, totally, yeah. I mean, Simon.
Yes.
Say something.
It's got a beautiful silhouette.
Yes, I mean, it is a great shape. It really is.
I would also add that it's comfortable, modest, and good for Sunday best. Useless.
And it's got 2 poppers, so you can adjust it if you do change in size or once a month, possibly.
Because when a woman enters the menstrual stage of a feminine cycle, she will swell around the tummy.
So let's bring out our next gorgeous girl, Julia.
Julia!
Now, this is a Dirndl skirt.
Now, this I love.
It's shaped like a bell, concentrated around the waist, around the hips, and this one is very on trend.
It is like a stripy bell with her legs as the hammer. Feel the fabric, Simon, then talk about it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Have a feel.
Feel the fabric.
Oh. Yeah. Decent.
Yeah?
Exactly, and it's
Decent bit of skirt. No, sorry, I take that back.
Well, it's saying Dolce Vita, Roman holiday.
It is, it's saying...
Molto bene!
Molto bene!
Molto bene!
Molto bene! Not that loud, but, you know... There's no getting away from it, Tommy. Sometimes Simon and I can be outrageous, really can. Let's look at another woman in a skirt.
Our next skirt is modelled by the lovely Louisa.
Oh, very curvy stripes, like she's been squeezed out of a giant tube of Colgate lady paste.
And we've paired the skirt with daring red shoes that really draw the eye. And it says I'm on the town, it says I mean business. It says I'm comfortable, but I'm nobody's fool.
Yeah, it's saying I'm a whirling dervish. Yes, I like to go to the office, but sometimes I like to sit on a park bench with Ryvita and Philadelphia looking sad. But it's also saying I'm happy. I like to leap in the air and sing, whoa, body form. That's, yeah.
It never bloody shuts up, this
yeah,
skirt.
well,
What are you talking about?
it is a stripy chatterbox.
It is good.
It's a magnificent skirt.
Tommy, join me at the lady. I think this look works for Julia, but I can also see her perhaps with her hair up.
Totally. Excuse
like
me, my
this.
darling.
Thank you, darling. Maybe a shocking pink clutch bag, sleeves pushed up, LA Law style.
Totally. Hair up, daytime casual, hair down, one word, accessorise. Wrist, neck, ears.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes.
No.
Nails, lots of colour, accessories where you can really let your hair down.
Yeah, although I've just told you to put it up to me. She's smiling. Earrings, maybe a couple of big hoops. Just toss your head back and shake it around, let them clank against your neck.
Thanks, Louisa.
Thanks, sweetheart. That was sensational.
Now, this one, it's called White Diamond. Perhaps another one of Kirsty Allsop's bridesmaids.
Did you have a drink before you came on?
It's champagne, lime cordial, big slug of Cointreau, white grape juice and egg white.
Like poached egg?
Oh, no, it's raw.
God's sake, Rosie.
What?
You can't eat raw egg. It's a raw egg,
No,
Rosie.
it's a common ingredient.
Sorry, just a disclaimer. Please don't try this at home. Rosie's attempted it here, but in controlled conditions with first aiders on hand. Please cook your eggs. Be safe. Be egg safe.
Rosie, let me pick your brain. Because me and my mum, we always go to Queen's for the tennis.
Like this one.
The first cocktail afternoon of the summer. What would you make for that?
It'd have to be a rosemary champagne fizz. So gin, grapefruit and champagne. It's English, it's fun, it's summer.
Those are the new cocktails, but what about the classics? Rosie, what do you think is the most popular cocktail in Britain?
Espresso martini.
Alan, what do you think?
Mine's gone blank. Shandy.
Well, we hit the streets of Nottingham to find out which came out on top.
And we're off.
That was great.
Oh, really, it's okay.
Smells of stuffing. Oh, it's you.
Just to say, I've looked into the annual report, yes. And it turns out Jenny earns slightly more than you.
Okay.
It's to do with the way the deal is structured. It's an accounting quirk.
Okay.
It's only about £200, but it just means she's higher than you in the list of the BBC's best paid presenters.
Okay.
You okay?
Okay, I'm okay.
So you're in a bit of a pickle. You want more, but you don't want to complain because women got a bit big for their boots.
Yeah, all right, Lynn, that's for the car, but thanks for the intel. Have a white sparkle.
Okay, places, people.
You like egg, don't you?
And we're back in 5, 4.
So there we have it. The mojito is Britain's favourite cocktail. And Rosie, you're making us one to end the show.
I am. Now, the secret to a good mojito is not to overdo the mint. So, it's lime juice, sugar, a little mint, they're already in the shaker.
Go on, make it then.
And, yes, a handful of ice and a good slug of rum.
Oh, I love rum.
And then you give it a good shake.
Stop looking at me.
Certainly gave that what for.
Would you like to have a go,
No,
Alan?
not me. I never know where to look when I do that sort of thing. It requires a certain kind of confidence that, for whatever reason, I don't have. That's why I don't play the maracas. Give it here. All right.
Stiff.
It's loosening.
Very stiff.
You got it?
All right.
Okay. Take it.
Well done!
I don't know why I did that.
Rosie, thank you very much for joining us. That was great.
It was great. It was really great. What are you doing my jacket? Sorry for bollocking you before about the raw egg thing. But don't do that again.
Oh, and I believe Simon has an email. Simon. So, drama therapy. It's therapy that uses role play to help people work through difficult or challenging situations.
Well, like therapy, good drama encourages us to look inside. It helps us to understand our own behaviour and deal with emotional issues.
In fact, Simon was telling me earlier that Aristotle coined the term catharsis to describe the healing we experience through drama.
Hubris, nemesis, catharsis.
Well, it's all Greek to me. Thought I'd do the joke this time, seeing as Simon was being a bit serious.
But what kind of problems does drama therapy help to confront?
It's very versatile. Marital strife, workplace disagreements, psychological trauma. Drama therapy is not always easy. It can be very challenging and sometimes tearful, but it should always feel welcoming.
I think you just described the pub quiz I go to. You see, you should be saying this. Catharsis.
Now, I believe we're going to see some drama therapy in action.
That's right, Jenny. Over here, we have two actors, Daniel and Louise. And in a typical therapy situation, they would play out scenarios that couples can try themselves.
Right.
Now, in this scenario, Louise thinks that Daniel is emotionally closed off, but Daniel feels that as he's getting older, he does need more space. Guys?
And you wonder why we never resolve anything. It's because we argue, and then 5 minutes later, you get upset and I have to back down.
No one's saying you have to.
But that's what happens when you play that card.
It's not a card, Daniel. It's how I feel. Just because you're a closed book doesn't mean I have to be.
What am I supposed to say to that?
You should tell her that... Sorry, that's...
No, that's fine. Do you want to jump in?
Oh, me? God, no.
Yeah, no, please do. Step in for Daniel.
No, it's just... I've not acted for quite a while.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hadn't realised you'd acted.
Oh, yeah, I mean, just with North Norfolk players, a bit of acting, producing, directing. Most recently, A Few Good Men.
Oh,
so,
amazing. What part did you play?
The Jack Nicholson role, so yeah, a bit of a tough act to follow, but I just tried to do it sort of, you know, like... The truth! You can't handle the truth! Yeah, so I sort of went higher, and then I did the scoff at the end, which I don't think Nicholson thought of, so...
Well, how would you feel about having a go at this scene?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Oh, great. OK, Daniel, you step out. Louise, you're in the kitchen, you're making dinner. And Alan, start a conversation when you're ready.
OK.
Don't overthink it.
OK, yep, right. Smells good.
It's just spag bowl.
I didn't mean the dinner.
Well, you never normally come in till it's cold. Look, I'm sorry to go on. I just don't want you to feel like I'm complaining because I want to spend time with you.
Hey, baby girl. Just been out on my bike. My motorcycling's important to me. You know that. But you know the best part of the journey? Riding that steel horse back home to you.
Try it without the accent.
Me or her?
You.
OK, but the general direction...
Forget all that. Both of you sit at the table.
OK.
Now, let's just pretend that she's your actual wife.
Yeah. Look, I wish I could spend more time with you.
See, I hear you saying that, but I don't feel it.
Then we'll figure something out, but you're going to have to stop going on at me. I'm sorry if I've got a gift that people enjoy and I find very satisfying. I'm sorry that you don't have that because for some reason God didn't give you any talent.
Shall we stop there?
Yeah, that felt good.